everyone, and welcome back to some more World Explorers, where we explore worlds of our own creation. I'm joined, as always, with the prompt master, Isaac. Say hello.
Emotions.
What?
Emotions.
What about emotions?
That is the subject for today, because I have, and there's this idea that I had, also high, there's this idea that I had, for a magic system a while back for one of my books that I kind of wanted to integrate, but it never found its way into any of the stories. So here it is today.
Okay.
It's where emotions can be used as a power source.
So.
The original idea was that it was that there would in my book was that there would be weapons that were powered by emotions, and there would be different weapons or maybe tools. I have not seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., in one of the episodes, it's not really spoiling anything, I don't think, but if you're concerned about that, just skip ahead a bit. They have a weapon. It's this, staff thing. It only shows up in one episode, which is why it's not that spoily, but when they touch it, it, feeds off their rage and, increases your strength and power through rage. One of the characters she's way too overpowered as it is, got hold of it, and she just destroyed some people. But yeah, it feeds off rage.
What is with people and making anger-powered staffs?
Anger is an extremely powerful emotion.
Yes, I get the anger part, but why is it always
Well, anger is attached to fighting, and
Yes, but why do people always combine it with a staff?
Oh, a staff?
There's.
Know. I've seen that.
There's that happened.
Swords, right?
That happened in Tales of Arcadia, Troll Hunters. That existed in that show too.
Oh.
There was a staff powered by anger.
Yeah. I guess
okay.
Maybe it's something to do with the fact that staffs are straight and you can just, and there's some symbolism involved there that we don't fully comprehend.
Maybe, I don't know. So I was thinking about a magic system where different weapons would be powered by different emotions. For example, you've got the one guy who always fights with pure rage and anger. Let's give him a staff, because why not?
Just for the hooligans.
And then you've got another guy who, let's give him a sword, because that's an easy basic weapon, who always just loves the thrill of the fight and gets very happy and joyful from fighting and maybe killing people.
For some reason, I think there's something more wrong with the guy who's fighting off the emotion of happiness than there is with the person of rage. To me, that guy is more of a psychopath. I just want that out there.
Maybe it's not. Okay, so maybe he isn't happy about killing people. Maybe he's just happy about fighting, and he likes the art of swordsmanship.
Okay.
He just gets a thrill out of it. Maybe, so he gets to be happy.
Or he remembers.
And so one person
memories.
the person fighting with happiness is the person is going to be using the sword, and he's going to be able to channel his happiness through his sword. But the guy with the staff is channeling anger through the sword, or through his staff. However, if they were to switch weapons, neither of their weapons would work for the other.
Oh, so the weapons are attached to a person?
No, the weapons are attached to emotions. Because the guy always fights with anger and isn't used to being happy when he fights, you give him the sword, suddenly he can't fight anymore.
Yeah, but eventually
or at least he can't. All he can use is a basic sword, and the sword is no longer magical.
Yeah, but eventually you could learn to fight with it, right? It's not like they're limited to these one weapons.
Yeah, he could learn to fight with it, but he would have to learn to, be happy while fighting.
Which just sounds awful. I wouldn't be happy fighting. I would get the one where it's just sad because I'd feel really bad about hurting people and stuff, so I'd just be really depressed all the time, and in my depression I would feed it by killing even more people, and it would just send me down a very dark path. These emotional weapons, I feel like, could be just as much as a danger to the people wielding them, depending on the type of any emotion, because overloading of one emotion is a dangerous thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only while you're using said weapon, which most of the time people aren't probably aren't fighting. However, I was thinking if we were to world build off of this, we would probably take this concept and integrate it into the rest of the world and the rest of society, where it's not limited to just weapons. It's just that weapons were the original idea
So a
for
world run on emotions.
pretty much. And I started going through this in my head the other day, and I was thinking to myself, would there be, if you could find a way to harness like emotions and then use that as a power source, would there be like people whose job is literally to sit in a room filled with games and entertainment and be happy all day? Like, that is their job. And then you drain the power from those emotions to power machines or cars, weapons, tools, whatever it is that you've got.
Well, here's another idea. A different way to do it is that the people of this town everyone could have like a bracelet or something in that sort that they wear constantly that beats off their emotions, and then everyone just powers the town as they're going about. Some people power more than others type thing, but like everyone's participating. More sense that, because I don't think it makes much sense to have people sitting in a room and being told always be happy, we'll give you everything you want, because no matter like how great that sounds, eventually, I don't know, there's not the sense of satisfaction. Eventually people get bored. It's hard to keep people happy.
Well, then you get fired.
Yeah, but, the idea that the whole community is participating in it, plus it makes emotional power a bit more integrated into the world, like a bit more important because everyone's participating.
Okay, yeah, that could work.
Could.
So everybody just wears a bracelet, and then I would think that maybe everybody at that point would want to start wearing all kinds of bracelets, like multiple bracelets for multiple emotions. And then those emotions, because you're not all, because even if you're a very positive, optimistic person, you're not always going to be happy, and you might want to keep that anger and sadness bracelet on you, for it to be able to power.
Did we just invent like sophisticated mood rings?
Yes, these are like sophisticated mood rings. These are mood rings.
Because it could just be one bracelet, and then it just changed color depending on like what emotion you're feeling. So you can. So this is a world where everyone always knows the like core emotion someone's feeling at a moment because their bracelets goes off. You can't hide your sadness anymore. Like people know when you're sad.
Long sleeves.
True. Or maybe you could wear like it could be something. Maybe it's not a bracelet. Maybe it's something a bit more hidden, like a necklace that you tuck under your shirt or something.
Yeah, maybe there would be multiple forms of this kind of jewelry that people could wear. Some people might wear a bracelet. Others could wear
a statement
the necklace.
Of whether or not you show it off or you keep it hidden.
I'm pretty sure most people would keep it hidden.
Well, some people could care less.
And how many people do you think would keep it hidden or not wear it and wear a fake one to make people think that they're happy?
Ooh, that could be like a whole economy in itself. Someone who sells fake bracelets. Fool your friends.
Would these bracelets be illegal?
The fake ones?
Yes.
I think if you're refusing to wear your actual one, it would be. But if you're also wearing your actual one, like, hidden somewhere, it wouldn't be. Like, I think the illegal thing is taking off your emotional thing, because it's what it keeps the city alive, and you need... It's kind of like one of those things, if one person stops doing it, a bunch of people stop doing that, and eventually no one's doing that, and then the city crumbles. It's like masks. Not everyone needs to wear masks right now, because a lot of us have the vaccine and stuff, but we all wear masks still, because if those of us who don't need to stop wearing masks, then those who still need to will also stop, and then it just causes problems in the future. I'm
Okay.
sorry for dating this episode of the podcast. Couldn't be helped.
Yeah, depending on who you ask, we're gonna be masking for the next 5 years. So.
Considering we just got the mandate saying that those who are fully vaccinated, like they got the vaccine and waited 2 full weeks, don't have to wear masks anymore, I don't think that's the
true.
case. I still have a week left because I got mine last week, so.
Just wait. There's going to be a different strand, and then we're going to have to backtrack everything. Yeah, anywho, off topic.
My emotional bracelet just turned into just defeat, whatever color defeat would be. Anyway, so what's the emotional range of these bracelets or this jewel? I guess we'll call them jewelry pieces. This jewelry, like, is it just a 5 core or is it a bunch?
I would say like the 5 core because otherwise you're looking at a very. I mean, I suppose depending on what kind of book you wanted to write. Like, you could have it very simple with the 5 core, or you could get extremely complex and introduce 100 other emotions.
The basic ones are joy, fear, sadness, disgust, and anger.
Yeah, I was thinking about, like, the 100 other different emotions that branch off of those emotions. Like, there's anger, but there's also frustration. And then there's also mixed emotions. And then there's also... There's also, I'm trying to think of other things that branch off of anger. I know there's more. But all I can think is
there's
frustration.
The 4 basic emotions, like the core ones, which I think are like happiness, sadness, fear, and anger. And disgust gets added on quite a bit, and so does surprise gets added on quite a bit. But I think
so does hope.
Hope gets on. I feel like happiness, sadness, fear, and anger are good just 4 core.
Yeah.
Because, like,
fear
I feel like
can
have surprise and stuff like that in that.
Yeah, and hope kind of branches off of joy.
Yeah. And I think it just colors according to which one's the strongest, because you can be feeling multiple emotions at once, but whichever one's or maybe it has, like, multiple lights, and it it has 4 lights, and sometimes you have more than one lit up. That could be fun. That's a mood ring that hasn't been done before, where it recognizes you have multiple emotions.
Yeah, I mean, I have worn mood rings before, and what's interesting is that you can actually control their color. Like, their colors do actually change based on your blood pressure, but I was actually playing around with it, and I was able to control the colors.
Yeah. Mine kept getting stuck on, like, one color, like, the whole, like, it would never change color. I don't know what that says about me.
You're emotionless.
Yeah, the worst part is that it got stuck on the one. It's the one where like you look at someone and you like you love them or something. Whatever that one was, they had like a loving face, and it always got stuck on that. And I'm just like, I'm not wearing this anymore because I'm alone in my room reading a book, and it's just that color. I'm like, this isn't working. So.
Yeah, they have about a 20% accuracy rate.
Yeah, my friends used to tease me relentlessly about it. I'm like, it just does not change. I don't know what to tell you. But I like the idea of a mood bracelet that's completely accurate. You know, actually, one thing that they could do is that you can have it like a bracelet or necklace, but you could actually have a covering for the lights. So you, like.
Oh yeah, those would sell like hotcakes.
So I think covering works. It's a lot easier than hiding it. Or getting fake ones.
I'm sure there's plenty of people who would start doing things like wearing it on their ankle.
Oh, yeah, anklets. You can wear it wherever. I don't think that matters. As long as it's, like, direct skin contact, I think is the rule. It's gotta be touching your skin. Like,
there's gonna be people who, like, shave off a part of their hair on the top of their head, then glue the thing to the inside of a hat. And then wear the hat.
I mean, I don't think this thing is, like, a giant thing. It's probably a small thing. You could probably wear it on, like, the front of your forehead. Like, if you want to do, like, a singlet or whatever it's called, where it's, like, the crown. It's a single band crown type thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but I know what you're talking about.
Singlets. I don't think that's right, but that's what my brain's telling me. I had it on my Minecraft character for ages until I changed my skin, so... Whatever those things are. But I imagine the thing would be small, and so that way it's not, you don't have to shave weird part of your hairs, because you don't have to dedicate yourself 100% to wearing a hat all the time.
Okay,
And
so
then you
let's
could
say
like take the
somebody.
little thing off and like put on different accessories depending on what mood you're in. That could be fun.
Okay, so let's say somebody lost their bracelet or
They're in
whatever
trouble.
it is. We need to come up with a name for these things.
Other than moodlets, we could call them moodlets.
Moodlets.
Just moodlets.
I mean, moodlets could work. Mood swings.
They're not. It's not
No,
like they're
I know
regular.
they're not swings, but
Let's just call them moodlets.
let's go.
Again,
Yeah, let's just
it's
go
our
with
viewers'
moodlets.
jobs to come up with the proper names of things. We've established this. We're terrible at that part.
Yeah.
So they're moodlets.
So moodlets.
What's the government doing with all this emotional information? 'Cause
I mean,
they now have like
the idea
data
was
on
that it's a
everyone's
power
emotions.
source. Like, for
Yeah,
example, you
but
like that.
Isaac, this is a story world. There is no way the government is not storing that information somewhere and using it for their benefit.
Okay, so they read it and they say, okay, this person is depressed, so there's a chance of them committing suicide. Send a person to spy on them. This person. What?
That's an interesting idea that like they read their you get mandated like counseling sessions or something. Like they read your moodlets and it actually has an effect on how like the government treats you. Like they send you to anger management classes or this or that, and what if you like say fail to control your emotions, like your anger management classes aren't going well and your moodlet is reflecting that? What would happen to someone like that?
Then you're loaded into a giant slingshot and fired at a castle full of pigs.
I wouldn't. That seems like a very ridiculous way to solve a problem that's not actually solving a problem. Because who's feeding those pigs?
Please tell me you know what I'm referencing.
No, I don't.
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds. Yeah, no, I clicked. Yeah, Angry Birds.
Yeah, you started talking about who's feeding those pigs, and I'm like, they're eating eggs.
Yeah. But is this would this world have a type of government that would remove emotional problem, or would maybe abuse them to, like, say, those who are extremely aligned to one of the four core emotions, power the city better? So would they want to keep people extremely angry or extremely depressed or whatever so they could feed the city? Because there's two ways. The government could be helping people take care of their emotions and like get a better core and like centralize and have all their emotions be evenly and well balanced, or the government could be trying to screw them all over.
I think that the government trying to screw them all over is a more interesting story. So let's go with that.
Yeah,
like the government helping people, that's not an interesting story. That doesn't create conflict. No, we need corruptive and dystopian governments. That is all that we need in life. And then that will make for good entertainment, and so we will all be happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how this. We find happiness in the discomfort and pain of others.
Yes, that is exactly right. I mean, if you look at shows, where if you look at any show where there is conflict, you enjoy it.
Yeah.
You go and you watch Barney, and the conflict is kid feels left out. It's not exactly quite as engaging as a creepy masked man stealing everybody's fire-bending abilities and earth-bending and stuff, going around saying, I will take your bending away, and then doing this creepy thing where he presses his thumb to your forehead, and then you let out
Isaac, we
breath.
don't need the entire plot of the second Airbending series described to us. Or Avatar series, I should say.
Anyway...
Okay, so I feel like there are going to be two types of people in this world. There are going to be those who grow up emotionally stable. Those are the people who can go about, have normal jobs, and live their lives. And then we have the interesting people who are the emotionally unstable, and therefore would probably be the story would be themed around them because they're the interesting ones, where they align strongly with one of the four emotions, and therefore the government targets them and puts them in jobs that forces them to be even more depressed or angry or what were the other ones? Happy? Oh my gosh, it's like the Walmart perky people. You know the people who work at Walmart as greeters? Those people align with
I
happiness way too much, like to the point where it's concerning.
I do not
Sadness and
shop
fear
at
are the other
Walmart
two.
all that often.
Oh, they exist and they're terrifying. Yeah, but yeah, so you have people align. You have the people who align with fear more, and the people who are sad. Yeah, and I'd imagine. I guess they'd be like 4 different buildings, one for each of the core emotions, to store these people in. So, at what age would you think they'd make this decision that someone's going to be emotionally aligned to something, or will be emotionally stable enough to like keep living life?
I mean, I would say about age 16,
Yeah,
because I think that's around the time where maybe 16 to 17.
I was thinking
That's probably
18
about the time where
personally.
people
Because 16,
their emotion.
17, your emotions are like whack. But usually 18, they've
I was
started to
thinking like
stabilize.
13 and 14 is where your emotions are really whack.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't do it at 13 or 14 because you're still figuring things out for yourself. I bet they love 13 and 14-year-olds, though. It's favorite age.
Yeah, it's like, all right, let's look at the chart. How's Jimmy doing? Well, right now he is absolutely furious. Oh, nope, wait, he's very, very happy. Oh, okay, that was a sudden turnaround. Oh, wait, he's crying himself to sleep tonight. Oh, huh. Well, what's he doing now? Well, now he's getting up, going into the bathroom, staring in the mirror, and telling himself how courageous and amazing he is.
So he's depressed. It's like, yeah, his thing is fully blue at this point. That's usually how it is. You hype yourself up when you're
Get that
depressed.
kid some counseling.
I mean, I don't think that's something they'll want to provide. I don't think counselors have much of a job here. Now, I believe
But what if
psychologists are very valued in this society, just not counselors.
somebody wants counseling though? Like they're not being assigned counseling, but they want to see a counselor.
Um,
Like
I
they
don't
want to
know.
go there willingly.
I'm not sure. I don't think counseling will be like even a thing in this world. Like you would say, we'd be like, oh, you should get counseling. They'd be like, what's that? Type thing, because the government wouldn't want. Does the government is okay if like people become emotionally stable like by the age of 16 or 18, whichever one people decide. They're okay with that. They get to go live their life. There's plenty of other jobs and stuff that they can do. But at the same time, if they're not emotionally stable, they get to use them for like extreme power cells. Which mean, do we want it where like actually you only wear the bracelets from like birth to 16 or 18, and then afterwards you don't, and it's only those who are selected who have to keep wearing them, and then are sent to these facilities? That be a more interesting story.
Maybe. Well, okay. I think we might need to look at how the bracelets actually work again, like how they draw emotions. Do they draw power from emotions based on how strongly you are feeling a particular emotion? Like if you're just sort of bored, you're not going to be powering it very much at all. But
Yeah,
if you're
I
just
know.
always pretty constantly angry, you are going to power it a lot. Or is it going to be you need to have like a fluctuation of emotions, like people who are all over the place with their emotions are gonna supply more power,
Oh, that's a good
or
point. I didn't
what?
even think about it, like just being emotionally unstable and what that would do for power source. But I guess that would
Yeah,
be having that.
I think it'd be the more you're feeling an emotion, the higher the power output would be.
So in
And
which case,
so
it's not.
I'd say that people who are constantly just angry all the time probably aren't the best power source because I would think that if you're like constantly angry just all the time, that eventually just gets exhausting and you stop being angry and you just
You wish,
fall
but
into what?
okay. So here's another thought. Like based off of that though, is some people might be put into situations where they're forced to feel like the same emotion. Let's say like competitive sports or something. I feel like competitive like sports would be a very big thing in this world because there's a lot of emotions associated with sports that or competition, I guess I should say, that isn't found in like other things. Competing against someone creates a lot of emotions of like anger and jealousy when you fail, or like a lot of happiness and pride when you succeed, and a lot of sadness and disappointment when you fail again. So I feel like this is a very competitive society simply because they want those emotions produced, and competition is a very easy way to get emotion.
Okay.
Now, I feel like
Yeah, I think that would. What?
there's one emotion I think we need to talk about at the core four, because I'm not sure if because this government could be really, really evil if they want to like use this, and we could go all Monster Inc. and talk about the emotion of fear.
Yeah, I was thinking quite a bit about Monsters Inc. while we were talking about this.
Maybe I feel like fear. They have a backup chamber where if their energy levels go on critical, they produce the fear chamber and they send people to it. But like that's only in emergencies, and power emergencies.
It's like, what is this person's phobia?
I mean,
like,
they would know.
Spiders. And I was like, oh, he's afraid of spiders. Let's send him into a chamber filled with spiders.
Well,
And then
I
you
feel
just
like
emotionally scar people.
They would definitely. So especially if like say the bracelet has like a recording device or something in it, it'd be very easy to know what someone's fear is. Because for one, it reads fear, so it knows when they're around something that's scary, and then it can like tell people. It's quite obvious what's the thing that scares them. So knowing people's fear would be very easy with the moodlets. And I guess that's something that the government wants to can abuse, and something just to keep on the back burner, that this is a government that knows your greatest fear.
Yeah, and I imagine, like, something else was going through my head was one person giving a bracelet or moodlet to another person, and then the government just saying, hey, look, these two people are having the exact same emotion as Swift, or changes at the exact same time, and at the exact same power levels. We're pretty sure somebody has given a bracelet to another person.
Yeah, they would know that.
And then they go
What's
and
the
track this person down.
consequence for that? Like, what would be the consequence for taking off your moodlet? Because
the fear chamber.
Ew, that's actually... So the fear chamber becomes a punishment system for those who break rules, especially... And then, yeah, I guess that would make sense.
It's like, unlike our punishment system where you get put into a cell concrete box, and then we have to sit there and spend resources to keep you alive, and also resources to build concrete box, and then resources to have somebody watch over you. Instead, you are supplying the resources.
Yeah, no, I like the idea that the fear chamber is a thing that is very well known. They know that it provides a lot of power for their city, and they know it's powered by delinquents, pretty much, those who break the rule. And it's also a reason why you never take off your moodlet, because you don't want to get sent there. No one does. Okay, so well, that solves a lot of problems in the government and like how they control people and stuff. The fear chamber.
Now, what if somebody were to try and escape this government and escape this town, city, country, whatever it is? Like they were to try and make a run for it.
I guess
Do they have a built-in
city.
GPS as well?
It probably does. Like, it's tracking you. This thing knows everything.
Okay, so I take it off, and now I'm running.
Would we say that this is the type of government that would chip people? Like, beyond just...
It sounds like it.
I feel like this is the type... Like, this is a government that knows everything about you, so...
Well, then why not implant the moodlet? If you're going to implant the chip.
Well, because they want people to take them off in a way, because then they have an excuse to send them to the fear chamber. Also, making them... For one, they won't think you're chipped. You don't think you're chipped if you have something, like, optional to put on and off. It gives you... There's a lot of actually benefits of the government, like giving you something that feels kind of choice-like, even though it's not. Just in like participation. Also, you feel like you're participating in helping power the city, and so there's like positive moodlets for that and stuff. So
they're also, with them being visible, they're also a constant reminder. We're always watching you.
Yeah.
I'm watching you, Mazowski.
It's also a way for
always watching.
It's also a way for other people to monitor their neighbors and stuff, because they can see if they're wearing it or not. So maybe this is actually something that has to be seen visual. You want it to be seen visual so your neighbors don't like report you or something. Because you don't want to go to the fear facility, the FF.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's the type of building that has its own theme song when the movie comes out.
Boom, boom, no, no, no.
We don't need to come up with that theme song. I'm just saying it's that type of building.
Fear facility.
All right, let's go back to the emotionally unstable and what this government does with them, because I think that's an interesting concept we have not really expanded on as much as we should.
Well, if those people's emotions are at high power levels and are all over the place, I assume that they just drain that power from them because they're doing a good job. I mean, I'd say like if they were maybe a little bit psychotic and maybe destructive and like maybe they got some kind of maybe if these people have some people have mental disorders that are causing them to have violent outbursts. Maybe the government would at the same time want these people around. Even though they cause like property damage and everything, they are a fantastic source of power. Yeah, the government gets more and more dystopic. Is that the word? Dystopic?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, dystopianness.
It would be just that one's wrong. I know that.
Dystopianistic.
No, I don't think that's it either. It's just dystopian. It gets more dystopian as it goes along, is the proper term. I had a thought, and then the thought disappeared. Oh, it was, so people who are, so at some points people thought I guess there's like a reading that people can tell that the like computer system that's storing all this information sends out a little alert saying we have an emotional destabled person, and then that person is just collected with quotation marks and brought to not the fear facility, but a facility very close to it, and just stored there. And I want to introduce a new idea into this world. The idea of people, so we were talking about, this whole idea started off at the beginning with people with emotional weapons and stuff. What about people with like emotional superpowers that supercharge the city? But their emotions also give them superpowers, and therefore they can be used for more than just powering up the city, and like they're the city's treasured folk.
I say they morph into colorful outfits with plastic helmets and plastic mouths on them. They do weird dances as they swing around their arms and say "Hiya" a whole lot. And they ride giant robots. They ride giant robots that can all form together to create an even bigger robot.
I'm still voting no.
And they fight aliens, and then those aliens and monsters become even bigger than they first were, and then they fight them with giant robots.
Come back to this world and not be jumping to ones that already have been created. Come on back down. We're talking about emotionally charged people. I'm thinking more realistic abilities that make sense according to whether these people be associated with one emotion or like they're just emotions power their specific ability. But I guess that's the first.
What if they had control over other people's emotions, or were able to read other people's emotions without seeing the moodlet?
Oh, that's an interesting. So they're just hypersensitive to other people's emotions. What if so like a side effect of the bracelet that the society had unforeseen, or moodlet, I keep calling it bracelet, don't know why. A side effect of the moodlet is that some of the children have started being able to do what the moodlet does, and is starting to feed off other people's emotions. So more than just identifying them, but gaining like more physical strength off of people's emotions.
Well, then the government says we should probably start hiring some of these people.
Or they're terrified of them and they want to keep them isolated from other people so that way they can't use their ability.
We brainwash these people so that they follow us.
Yeah, but there's always that one person who doesn't.
Rip them from the arms of their parents when they're very, very young, and then raise them and brainwash them into doing what the government says.
So here's another idea that might complicate things, is that they're, for one, the bracelets, oh my gosh, the moodlets wouldn't work on them because they're feeding off of other people. So like they kind of void out the moodlets. Like they don't work on them. Worst is that when they're feeding off someone else's emotions, that means the emotions aren't going into the moodlets. Like they can cancel out other people's moodlets. So they're more of a danger than a help.
So maybe this would be more of an instance of wanting to kill all of the people who are draining power from the moodlet.
Yeah, and now we have a people who maybe were hidden by parents or something, who are now willing to start fighting against the dystopian government, because children are always expected to fight against this. I just wrote a 14-page paper yesterday about this, about like children's expectations in dystopian novels and why it's ridiculous. We abuse
children's expectations in any
in real life. It's just ridiculous.
Novel.
We expect too much of children. We need to chill a bit. Like, we expect children to be better than their parents, better than everyone around them. I liked one article I read where it was like, we teach children that all men are created equal, while at the same time forcing them to be better than everyone else. So, like, their parents have to be equal with everyone. Once you hit an adult, you can, like, chill and calm down. But as a kid, you can't. You're just expected to be better and, like, achieve high things. And once you hit an adult, you stop caring for the most part. It's weird. Poor children. I feel so sorry for children. I'm so glad I'm not a child anymore and don't have those expectations thrusted on me anymore. Because I felt them. Especially having, like, being considered in the gifted category. It's worse, where you're just expected to do amazing things at age 5, and you don't even know what amazing means at that age, so it's just a lot. So we have those kids in this world, these kids that are expected to do amazing things, who's are this world's only hope.
I just have no words after that. Is
this applause. A new realization for you?
No, just applause.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you can actually hear my applause because the sound suppression is cutting it out.
You're right, we can't. You're applauding in spirit. Yeah, we need to leave our children be. Let children be children. Or at least give them the same expectations we give ourselves, not more.
So what else could we do with this world?
Well, we have our superheroes now, or our heroes, our protagonists now. So how are they fighting against? How's this resistance moving against them?
Well, if all they can do... Well, maybe what they can do, like just about anyone with these abilities can do on a base level is see other people's emotions without the moodlet, and maybe they have a minor strength increase. Other than that, perhaps it would require training to actually... to actually utilize your abilities.
So some people would become more powerful with so it's so some people who are older who have lived with this ability longer and have trained with it are therefore stronger, because I guess they learn how to like at first, your first experience with it, for what besides your moodlet not working and you now being on the run for the rest of your life, congratulations, is you realize you can gain strength from like one person, but with training you can learn to gather from more and stuff. And I guess at some point they might get enough people. Imagine what a group of these type of people could do in a huge busy area. I'm not even sure. I don't think we've established what they can do. Like, we know they could get a bit of strength increase, but is there any way like they can transfer emotions into something like physical? They can shape and shoot or attack.
I think that maybe they would be able to like channel other people's emotions that are around them through themselves and into an object to power it.
Oh,
like if you were to say, let's say you wanted to power your tank. Your tank needs the emotional power to run. And one person and a moodlet and everything, it's not going to be enough. But one person surrounded by a bunch of other people who has this special ability can channel their emotions through him and into the tank.
So they become like an electric charge, but, well, not
And
actually shooting things, but like...
Now, let's say that you were to go into the government, whatever this version of the government's White House or Capitol building would be, some big government facility.
Some big scary building with blacked out windows.
And you were to run in, let's say you were to run in with a tank, and it suddenly puts everybody around the government facility into a state of fear. You can then you can then take that fear of those people who are around you and use it to power the tank. Now, if people were to stay clear of the tank and get too far away, they would be out of range and you would not be able to power the tank, and suddenly you're just sitting in a metal shell waiting for somebody to fire a blast at the tank. So what you do is you kidnap a bunch of people, stuff them in the trunk, and then start running.
So I guess it would make sense that the government would then want to actually be on the good side of these people, like taking them as children and training them up or killing them. Maybe training them up. They might have... I feel like they would be curious by these people and like have like a group of core people. But the moment one of them turns bad, then it's like kill them all type thing. So depending on what timeline you're in this world, I guess would say whether or not they're actively hunting or training them.
Yeah. I mean, let's say that they were training them. I imagine it would go something like starts training person. Person decides, hey, or person starts realizing, hey, so this government seems a little bit corrupt. And then the trainer says, oh, no, we're not corrupt at all. And then this person starts questioning stuff more and more. And then even higher up person, leader of the government, says, throw him into the sea. And so they throw him into the sea. And then when they get back to the base, somebody asks, where is person? And then they say, oh, person went on a mission and died. He or she is not coming back anymore. And then maybe the person finds their way back somehow and then exposes the corrupt government or is hiding
you just
secret
described
down.
Every YA novel ever. At least every YA dystopian novel.
I have not read much in the way of dystopian novels. I have read Animal Farm. Does that count?
I believe it.
I think it's considered dystopian.
I don't know. It's the same author. I know he writes dystopians because he wrote like 1964. Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see the book. It's on the floor. I have it.
1964 or 1984?
I don't know. Oh, 84 probably makes more sense.
Anyway, Animal Farm, I would say, is a dystopian novel.
It kinda is. I don't know. I feel like Animal Farm is more of a satire in story form because it's just.
Well, what it is, but I would say it's both that and dystopian. I mean, think about it. What is the definition of dystopian? It's where people think that they're in a utopia, but they're really in a dystopia.
Yeah.
Where things are not, where they think everything is perfect and as good as it can be, but everything's not. Everything is garbage.
Yeah.
And so Animal Farm seems to fit that pretty well, where all of the pigs are convincing all the other animals, oh yes, this place is perfect. The farm is amazing. We're doing everything just fine. Everything's running well. Also, give us everything that you have, or we'll kill you.
Pretty much. But I think this is where we're going to end this.
On a discussion of Animal Farm.
On a discussion of Animal Farm. Well, it's an interesting book.
It's a very good book.
It is a good book.
I've read it twice.
Ooh, I've only read it once, so good job beating me there. I've seen a play, so the play was really bad, though, because people were playing multiple characters, but they weren't doing anything to, like, distinct what character they were playing at a moment. So I was just
a play
confused.
Of Animal Farm?
Yeah.
Were there costumes at least?
No, not really. Everyone was wearing like white clothing, and then they would like switch characters, but they wouldn't there was no way to know if they switched characters really. So I just sat there. I think it was 13 or something, I was just really confused. And I just read Animal Farm because that was when I read it, was for the play. I read it before the play because whenever a movie or something comes out for a book or I'm going to go see a play, I like to read the book first. So I read the book of Animal Farm before then, and I'm like, this is a really cool book. It'll be interesting to see it in play form. Sat down to see it in play form, and I'm like, this makes no sense. As a 13-year-old, I feel like I could do better. And that was my thoughts on that. But yeah, no, the book is pretty good. The fact that I read it at 13 and I'm 21 and I still remember like the details pretty well shows that it was a pretty good book. It at least sticks with you. It haunts you. It hits a little.
Wow.
It hits home a little too well.
Very
Anyways.
good book. The ending was kind of weird, but good book.
It was a good book. No,
The ending was meant to make a point.
And it made a point. It made the point very, very loudly. It's a very loud book. Don't expect this book has its ideas, and it is not quiet about them. So.
How many people do you think have clicked off by now?
Probably a bunch. We should probably sign out. Look, reading other books is important in creating. You can't be a writer if you're not a reader. That's something every single English professor of mine has told me. So, take that as you will. This was fun.
Good.
It's an interesting world.
Yeah.
Moodlets are creepy but cool. I feel like we started off really positively with them and then just went down the dark spiral we couldn't get back out of.
I was expecting this to be a positive one because I was thinking
use moodlets for.
I was thinking use moodlets to build a fantastic society, and then we're like, wait, no, the dystopian society is more interesting. Let's go with that.
It's more interesting. But yeah,
I was thinking, what if you were to get like a power drill, and then you're like, I am going to drill a hole in the wall. Oh no, my battery's dead. No worries, I have a moodlet. I will just think happy thoughts, and then I'll be able to drill a hole in the wall.
But yeah, we're gonna end it here, and next week we'll be finding ourselves yet another world to explore. Bye!
Mood ring, oh tell me, will you bring the key to unlock this mystery? With girls and their emotions, play it back in slow motion so I may understand the complex infrastructure known as the female mind.